it's grounding. I've done this intro many times before, so if you've heard it, thanks for humoring me and bearing with it. But I do find it always relevant. So I'm going to go for it. I might chit-chat for a bit. Thanks for hanging out and following along best as you'd like to, or as much as you'd like to. And I'd like to all get on the same page, and let's just pretend, you're good, boss, and pretend that on this side, we can all agree that we were born. We were born. We can all agree on that. If you're a philosophy major, fuck off. And on this side is death. That's the exciting part. It's learning how to live for living. There's a tricky bitch. But death, in and of itself, not a tragedy. It's not even a surprise, y'all. We all know it's going to happen. We each get to go through it as gracefully as possible. We each get to have that fantastic experience. And listen, if you're in it right now, if you've lost somebody, I'm not making light of your grieving situation, but I am saying it's not about you. And that it's about this person's transition into the next phase. And that they receive all the energy you're putting out there. So if you're making it a situation of tragedy, and anger, and resentment, they receive that. It's a direct line to them. And I'm just asking you to let them go as gracefully as possible. In the middle is the pursuit we all have for sustainable joy, happiness, love, peace. Peace, you know, that wounded word because people toss it around too much, peace and love. When in actuality, at the essence, they're just phenomenal representations of human potential and wholesome understanding. But so we get in this pursuit, and what happens is people mistake passion for love, and oh God, guilty. And sometimes one person falls in love with another person, and the person who loves the most, they feel like that they're at the mercy of the person who loves the least, and it causes this person to sit on the edge of their bed for months at a time with the wind knocked out of their heart, not knowing what to do with all that rejection. And here's the deal, you don't have to do anything with it except observe it. But do know that for you to ever get better, you must pass through it. You don't have to judge it as pain or pleasure or hate or love, but you must observe it. Let it get as big as it's going to get. As overwhelming as it may seem, you've got to pass through it. You don't give love in order to get love. You give love in order to become love. And it's okay to keep loving that which you think is rejecting you. I promise it's for your best. I know how of little worth that statement sounds. I know the last time I was in it in 2008, my heart got really bruised, worse than ever. And somebody in my family said, buddy, listen, you have got to forgive and forget. And I was like, oh, suck a dick. Because I find forgiveness to be the most phenomenal of concepts, but no one in my family ever modeled it, so I didn't know how to implement that tool. In fact, no one in my community was modeling it, and as I look further, no one in my government actually models it either. And so forgiveness, what a fantastic concept, right? And I saw a therapist during this time. The only one I ever paid to see. There were two in college who were free, who I was determined were going to make me straight, but they weren't helpful. Kind, but not helpful. But I did pay to see. I was like, there's got to be like textbook 101 how to get over this shit. And I went and saw him, and he said, I said, listen, boss man, I am deeply in love, and it's not reciprocated, and I want to die every day. I'm thinking about eating a shotgun, and I need to know an effective way to cope right now. And he said, you are in love? And I said, yes. He said, who taught you what love is? And I said, I guess my parents did. And he said, how many times did you say they were married? And I said, 8. 4 each. And there was a long moment of silence, and I went, okay, touche. This poem is about forgiveness. And I didn't understand forgiveness until I saw a woman named Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis in Seattle, Washington say 2 lines about forgiveness, which are in this next poem. And I credit it online and in my books and stuff, but it's hard to do it every time it's said or at every show. And I've seen people tattoo it on their bodies and credit me with it and send me emails. But you must know that this is not, the 2 lines about forgiveness in this poem are not mine. I'm just passing them forward. And in fact, they're not even Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis's. She was repeating them from someone she heard them from. And that's all I want you to know, just regarding credit where credit's due. Not that it ultimately matters, because we're all come from the same source, and we all need the same information to go along the way and to get there in a wholesome fashion. And what I want you to know is this, that if we were created in God's image, then when God was a child, he smashed fire ants with his fingertips and avoided tough questions. There are ways around being the go-to person, everybody, even for ourselves, even when the answer is clear, like the holy water Gentiles were drinking before they realized forgiveness is the release of all hope for a better past. I thought those were chime shells in your pocket, so I chucked a quarter at it, hoping to hear some part of you respond on a high note. You acted like I was hurling crowbirds and mocking bars, then you abandoned me for not making sense. Evidently, I don't experience things as rationally as you do. For example, I know mercy whenever I have enough money to change the jukebox at a gay bar. Somebody's got to change that shit. Do you believe in love? No! My gay brethren. Please kick it up a notch. But you know mercy whenever someone shoves a stick of morphine straight up into your heart. It felt amazing the days you were happy to see me. So I smashed a beehive against the ocean to try and make our splash last longer. Remember? All the honey had me looking like a jellyfish. Ape. But you walked off the water in a porcupine of light, strands of gold drizzled out to the tips of your wasps. It's an apology letter to the both of us for how long it took me to let things go. It was not my intention to make such a production of the emptiness between us, playing tuba on the tombstone of a soprano, to try and keep some dead singer's perspective alive. It's just that I could have swore you sung me a love song back there, and that you meant it. But I guess some people just chew with their mouth open. So I ate earplugs alive with my throat, hoping they would get lodged deep enough inside the empty spots that I wouldn't have to hear you leaving, so I wouldn't have to listen to my heart keep saying, all my eggs are in a basket of red flags, all my eyes to a bucket of blindfolds, in the cupboard with the muzzles and the gauze. You know, I did not mean to speed so far out and off, trying to drive your nickels to a well when you were happy. You were happy to let those wishes drop, but I still show up for gentleman practice in the company of lead dancers, hoping that grace will get stuck in my shoes. Is that a handsome shadow on my breath, sweet woman? Or resent a cattle call in a school of fish, and still dance with me, less like a waltz for panic, more for the way we had hoped to swing the night we took off everything. We were swinging for the fences. Don't hold it against my love. You know I want to breathe deeper than this. I didn't mean to look so serious. I didn't mean to act like a filthy floor. I didn't mean to turn us both into some cutting board. But there were knives stuck in the words where I came from. Too much time in the back of my words. I pulled knives from my back and my words. I cut trombones from the moment you slipped away. And I know it left me looking like a knife fight, lady. Boy, I know it left me feeling like a shotgun shot. You know I might have gone and lost my breath. But I want to show you how I found my breath to death. It was buried under all the wind instruments, hidden in your castanets. God damn, if you ever want to know how it felt when you left, if you ever want to come inside, just knock on the spot where I finally pressed stop, playing musical chairs with your exit signs. Yeah, I'm going to cause you a miracle when you see the way I kept God's image alive. Forgiveness is for anybody who needs safe passage through our minds. If I really was created in God's image, then when God was a boy, he wanted to grow up to be a man, a good man. And when God was a man, a good man, he started telling the truth in order to get honest responses. He'd say, yeah, shit, I know. I probably should have worn my cross for you again. But I don't want to scare the Gentiles off, y'all. That is not what I came here to do. He said, I am pretty sure I just came here to love you.